All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Eagle Group biannual, no, I'm just kidding, weekly Eagle Group meeting. So just a real quick orientation. I see a couple new folks here. The way this works is we'll be doing a 20-minute session on a topic, and then this is being recorded, and then we'll have introductions. And we'll have a chance to go around and ask everybody what they're looking for this week and how we can be of help, and everybody can contribute to that discussion as well. And then we also have breakout rooms available if there's a long involved discussion. We have people available who can help with that. So let me start sharing my screen. Let me actually start my PowerPoint presentation first, because I don't know how this is going to work on a single screen. Not very well, apparently. Hang on. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Now let me know if you can still see my screen. Yep, okay, good. So this topic is how developing relationships creates the promotion pathway for yourself and others. What I mean by that is in the military, promotions are earned. And yes, I realize I only put the NCO ranks in here. There's officer ranks as well. And yes, this is only the Army. This is for illustrative purposes only. But the point being is each rank is earned on merit, right? You go to the right classes, you have the right experiences, you spend the right amount of time in grade, and you earn the right to be promoted. That's a pretty cool system when you think of it. I think everyone by now is realizing that the civilian world doesn't work that way at all. Promotions seem random. Oftentimes jobs aren't even posted and people suddenly get nominated magically out of thin air. Recently, we had a new leader. I don't know what his level is, to be honest. It's 4 levels above me, so it's beyond my level of caring, to be honest. But he recently hired a new chief of staff, somebody that he had an intimate working relationship from a previous posting, and he brought him along with him. That meant the current chief of staff was just out. There was no debate, no question, no jobs were posted, no time and grade, nothing. It was just, this guy's in, that guy's out. Now, was that fair? I'm going to submit to you that it was different. Different. Fair doesn't have anything to do with it. So just a little bit of level set here. I want to go through this first. Is for those that may not know, generally speaking, this is the ranking of civilian careers, right? Titles will vary, but think of these as a general guide to levels, right? There's a direct contributor, is usually euphemistically referred to as private, right? Manager, then director level, and there's also assistant director and an assistant vice and yada yada yadas, right? People can stratify these layers, but generally speaking, this is the flow in a civilian career. Direct contributor, manager, director, vice president, president, and then of course that's overseen by board of directors. So I'm going to leave that up just for a second to let that soak in, but that's generally when you're looking at what level of who you're talking to, this is how you discern that. But here's what I consider the real levels of a civilian career, at least as it relates to us. There's a direct contributor level, there's a manager level, and then there's a leader level. So if you take that big long one and compress it down into 3, this is what you're left with, right? So when you get past direct contributor, promotions aren't earned. It isn't about your skills and experience or your degrees. So while yes, those are table stakes, right? You need a degree, you know, whatever for the position. At a manager level, a mid-level focus is on accomplishments. So the standard cheaper, faster, better, more. So the manager is, or that promotion, the leader that's looking for a manager is looking for a results driven, accomplishment oriented, et cetera, et cetera. And quite honestly, lots of veterans bring this to the table out of the gate. So if you're looking for a role right out of your military life, I would, and often do, recommend that veterans focus on their accomplishments and communicate those in interviews and networking. It's a good way to find a fit and work your way up from there. But the leader who's hiring that person, if they're looking for a leader, then they're not looking for accomplishments per se. They're looking for somebody who can get accomplishments through others, absolutely, right? And some can argue that that's what a manager does. But a leader is looking for a leader who focuses on character, values, vision, knows how to take ownership, right? Listening is important. So let me kind of give an example of this that I explain to people. I say, you know, if you're a direct contributor, I have the skills for accomplishing XYZ. Great, great, great. I have accomplished XYZ, right? When you get to a manager, my team accomplished XYZ because I helped lead the team. But at a leader level, it's how you led that matters. So I accomplished that mission regardless of what my team wanted. I had to step on some heads and fire some people, but by God, we got the job done. Is a completely different response from I was able to help people see the value of stepping up to the plate. And it was a personal great accomplishment for me when all of the people on my team got publicly recognized by their customers. So they both speak to a person's character, but the point being is the leader level is focusing on how you tell that story. So quick check-in, does that make sense? I'm looking at Jason and Tom. They're the only ones that are showing up on my screen. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the point being is when you're interviewing for a leader, right? A leader is interviewing for a leader, then they're looking for somebody who focuses on their character or leadership through character, has the vision, has the values of people first, and understands what ownership is about, right? That's what veterans think of as mission. That's my mission. Well, same thing in ownership. I'll tell this story real quickly. Had a friend of mine who helped Best Buy grow to a national store platform level. And he would tell people as he'd go into a state, you know, this is what Best Buy is. This is what we're about. If you want to join that vision, right, step over here. But I'm not ever going to hire anyone who I can't see as a leader someday, which means I may hire you as a cashier, i.e. direct contributor, but I'm going to see how well you take ownership of that cashier lane. Do you work on, you know, improving the value of it, making it faster, making it more efficient, making it run better? And if so, then maybe I can see you leading all the cashier lanes. And if I can see you leading all the cashier lanes, then maybe someday I can see you leading a department, like the ops department. And if that happens, then maybe someday I can see you running other departments and eventually maybe the store, so that I can leave this store in good hands and go on to the next state. And so his point was, I never hire anyone that I can't see having the potential to have ownership. So this is what I talk about with leaders a lot, and there's a lot in this. And so if you're interested in capturing this, I actually do have this posted on my website. But the key to what this is describing is how people evolve through their thinking to expand their level of influence and level of or their scope, if you will, right? And where you can find them or how you can connect with them. And so the real key to this is the yellow Post-it notes, right? Is where that shift of thinking goes as you progress up this power curve. So at the direct contributor level, right, you try to get good at your work, good at your skills, good at you're improving yourself. which is not a bad thing. At some level, you move to getting good at a career, right? Serving a team. And then as a business leader, you get good at serving shareholders. And that's goes from all about me to all about you, right? Veterans get that dynamic, no problem. The part where civilian people then evolve, and I think lots of them can have challenges with this, is they were held in a container where they had organizational support and resources and structure. And so if just like rank, right? If I say to do something, right, get down and push, you're gonna get down and push, right? But they have the authority, right? What happens when you move outside of that box and no longer have that authority, right? You start having significance in the community and serving the community. How do you leverage from command authority to influence? Well, it focuses on all about us. What are we doing to make this world a better place? So that's what this diagram is explaining. And it goes back to the previous slide, which is talking about your values and your vision. What's the scope of what your vision is? And the other point that's important about this diagram is each leader at each level mentors down. And that's going to become an important critical component here. So somebody who's significant in the community is looking for people who are thinking about and successful in business to mentor them up into a significance to community, to help get them to evolve their thinking into thinking about we, the community. And I invite you to notice that veterans are very good about this, especially in this community. So it's something that you can start explaining and start looking for and start communicating as you look for a promotion. Oops, looks like, yeah. So going back to the topic of how to earn a promotion, right? It is about competency. You do need to be good at your job to keep it. And that's whatever level, right? I'm going to pick on Target, for example. That CEO lost his job because he wasn't competent at security. Bottom line, they had a significant attack that made significant public notice, and he lost his job. He retired. But it doesn't matter your level. You have to be competent at your job to keep it. But that's only one half the equation. You must also relate well to others to merit a promotion. So as you look at these, right, again, direct contributor skills, competency, and degrees, but managers start having to, if they're thinking about promotion to a leader level, right, they have to start thinking about the favor system, the IOU system. And this was explained to me by a gentleman at H.B. Fuller, who, interesting guy, interesting story. He was assigned, he's a controller, which is a finance person. He was assigned to work in the IT group with no direct assignment, no direct work, no foreseeable assignments. He was parked there. And I wanted to get to know that guy. Like, how do you get to be so valuable that people will keep you around on the payroll for doing nothing and just have you around for the next time they need you, right? And he explained to me this IOU or favor system. He said, people in the centers of power in any company got there by creating favors. So it's a favor-based system, or where you wind up creating a obligation to a leader in power so that they reward you and pay you back. And he said that the function is that they remember that and they do reward it. The reason they do that is because they realize that others are watching, and if this is the system that's in place, then if you're not going to do that, and if you're not going to reward that loyalty or that favor, then nobody's going to do favors for you. So the nearest military equivalent I can think of that favors this is, there's a song, I Got Friends in Low Places. And so I love that song because every unit I went to, I made friends with a few key people, right? One was, in no particular order, the cooks, right? Because when I wound up doing KP, my job was going to be a lot easier. I made friends with the MPs, because should I ever slip up, that was going to be a lot easier on me. I made friends with S1. That was an important relationship. And most importantly, the medics. So those were my top 4 low places friends that I made every unit that I went to. And I did all sorts of favors for them, man. If they needed help or pulling a duty or whatever, I wanted to be there for them, because I wanted them to have a sense of obligation is not the right word, but favor back, right? So yes, I could, I could get a lot of stuff done when the time came to it, because I had the relationship built. And that's really the system of leadership. And that factors in a heavy component in a leadership promotion. The other thing that I want to cover is, I call it don't sacrifice your magical values. And I'll let you guys read this, but I'll tell you the story that this is describing. Is I was talking to a major when I was working at the Workforce Center, and he seemed to be kind of bummed out that he felt he had to give up his military values to succeed in corporate life. And I said, no, that's absolutely categorically not true. I said, it isn't about either or, it's about both and. And I told him, I said, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I said, they're only going to ever have one value system. That's all they know. You're going to learn 2. You got one, you're going to learn another one. And I said, you get to choose when to use them. When you know the military value system works better, like taking care of people, right? Pull that out and use it. Don't let anybody tell you different. But, if you're working on accomplishing a business mission, then, make sure you use the corporate values. I said, because in every engagement, he who has the most flexibility wins. And you'll have 2 value systems, and you get to pick and choose in the circumstance which one to work. I said, the other part about this is you're going to be able to work miracles, and nobody will understand how you did it. You'll be able to get people to do stuff for you that they won't do for anyone else, not for any amount of money. And they'll do it for you for free because of the relationship and because of your leadership values. And so the point that I'm making here is, remember that you have something unique that you get to bring to bear to the situation. So by all means, don't throw it away. Leverage it, but remember that it's an add to, not either or. And then finally, then the final point is pave the way for the next generation, right? Leaders are looking for people who understand this system and are willing and able to pay it forward. And this is not a problem for any veteran I've ever met, right? But the key point as it applies in a corporate life is are you willing to help, not just help somebody get a job, but get the next step up? Because going back to the story I was talking about, the new leader that we had at our company, right? He is mentoring his next generation. He's bringing somebody up through the ranks with him. It's a gift that he gives back. It's patronage, if you will, that he gives back for the sake of that person fulfilling his vision and mission and values. And so I can tell you, actually, I don't know him, but I'm certain that he's got more than one person that he relies on, and there's going to be more than one hire that he brings in. He's going to bring in his team. And you'll see that all the time in a leadership change. You'll see new people get promotions that have nothing to do with the current regime. And it's not to disfavor the current people, it's to favor the people who've been there for them. And it's because of this, because they want to make sure that you understand, if you're going to be a part of this inner circle, that you understand that there's an obligation to help those who helped you back. So questions, thoughts? This is an opportunity to ask me what you got burning, or make contributions and comments that add to this discussion.